Welcome, everybody. I'm Marc David, founder of the Institute for the Psychology of Eating. We're in the Psychology of Eating podcast, and I'm here with Jenny today. Welcome, Jenny.
Thank you, Mark. Hi.
Hi. So, here's what we're doing. You're going to be my client for 45 minutes to an hour, and I get to ask you a bunch of questions and learn about you. And if you could wave your magic wand and have whatever you wanted with food and body, what would that be for you?
Wow. I think feeling free from thoughts of should've, could've, would've is probably the heaviest load. More balance in still more balance in terms of just what I feel I would benefit optimally from versus what I'm actually doing, and finding balance in my life to actually walk the path that I feel I really want to, but just not in circumstances where I feel I can at the moment. And definitely feel more happier and more open about just my body and my body weight. And
where are you from originally, Jenny?
I'm originally from Russia, and I came when I was 13 to the United States as a Jewish refugee.
Wow. So how long have you been in this country then?
I came in 1992, so it's 30 years, going to be 30 years in December.
Wow. Good for you. So at what point in your life did you notice, I'm thinking about my body, I'm thinking about my weight, I'm not exactly perfectly happy? How old do you think you were?
I know exactly how old I was. It was shortly after I came to the States, so soon after I turned 14, because I gained a lot of weight within the first probably 6 months to a year of arriving in the States. And it's been very uncomfortable. Not necessarily because at that time I felt like I was too heavy, but because it was pointed out to me from my family. Mm-hmm. And because it's considered normal to do that and say things like, you're fat, you should not have that. And then I think somewhere around high school time, I kind of made an attempt in the maybe like 9th, 10th grade to lose some weight, and that didn't work. And then closer to like 11th or 12th grade, I feel like I was at a much better place emotionally. And I was able to just like talk myself through, eating less, and lost the weight and felt really good. And then I feel like every time I have like a significant stress, that's when the weight just comes on. And then if that stress goes away, I'm able to get back to normal. And if that stress doesn't, then I kind of, I guess, stay where I am.
Got it. Okay. How old are you now?
I'm 43.
Are you in a relationship?
Not anymore.
Do you wish to be?
I'm not even sure right now.
Mm-hmm. So the stress happens, the weight comes back on. And when you notice that the stress happens and the weight comes back on, does it feel like you're stress eating, you're eating more because of the stress? What do you notice?
I have been thinking about it a lot. And at least lately, what I have noticed is that I feel more hungry. Well, it depends. When the stress is very acute, I just am actually not hungry at all. I'm nauseous and I can't eat at all. And then as the stress subsides, my appetite returns and it's stronger than before. But what I also noticed is that, like in my mind, I think, that, should have been enough. But then I don't feel that full feeling. And I end up like eating more to get that, which is not how I used to eat. So that was definitely like a discovery for me to just kind of be, trying to be in my mind and just observe what I'm feeling, because I don't, like a lot of my friends, say, well, let's go have an ice cream because we're sad or whatever. I don't have that. If anything, I go for a walk if I'm like too stressed out, to get that nervous energy out. But I love food, everything and anything that has to do with it. So I actually just enjoy food shopping. I enjoy cooking. I enjoy eating. I don't enjoy eating bad food or food that doesn't taste good. And unless I'm starving, I'm not going to have that. And I don't really use food as an emotional support, like in terms of like needing to eat something. I might cook something as an emotional support.
Yeah.
But then just leave it. But I noticed that lately I've been just like noticing that when I have a meal that I feel like is a good meal and should be enough, back to should, like my stomach doesn't feel full. Mm-hmm. And I think that I end up eating more to get that fullness. Mm-hmm. And weirdly enough, that's not, because if I don't get that fullness, my mind, like I keep going in my mind. I can't focus. I keep thinking that I'm hungry. Although I don't think I am. I'm very confused.
Yeah. That's okay. We're gonna circle back to that. What you're talking about is important right now, about that piece around, am I filled? Am I hungry? What's going on? I think that's an important piece of the puzzle, but it's not the most important piece of the puzzle. For you, how much weight would you like to lose?
20 pounds.
20 pounds. Okay. So what do you tell yourself, understanding that you've lost that 20 pounds before, it comes back on when there's stress? Do you think, okay, I just got to get back to that weight and maybe I'll keep it off this time? Or how do you resolve what's happened, like the up and down that you've been in?
So I think this last big stress has been all about me trying to make peace with it. And initially, the stress was so intense that I couldn't eat. And I actually lost so much weight that I did not I like how I look, shoulder and below, but I did not like how my face looked. And I looked at myself in the mirror and said, I know this weight is going to come back and I'm not going to hate it. And I think right now I'm just trying to, like I said, find peace and balance with where I'm at right now, because I am still going through the stress and I'm not sure when it's going to end. And I feel like there are probably more things that I can do. And I'd love, this is the reason I was so happy when you reached out to me. But there is also so much that's happening in my life where there are definitely things that I know I can do, but I just don't have the time or the emotional capacity right now to actually go through with those things. So I'm focusing on just staying healthy. I found exercise that I actually enjoy. I found ways to stress relief, like walking, and just movement. So I think my biggest thought process, at least in this wave, is really compassion for the situation, and trying to just understand that, this is a period that will pass as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's fascinating because you've proven to yourself many times that you can shapeshift your body. You've done it. And the challenge is, I'm imagining for you, how do I live there? How do I stay there? How do I be okay with it all? And also, how do I lose that weight? Sometimes it's a little bit of you're kind of fooling the system a bit when, like, oh God, I'm so stressed, I can't eat. And then you lose a bunch of weight and you go, oh, okay, this isn't so bad. And you and I talked a little bit before we went on air about your profession these days. Can you share a little bit about what you do?
I'm a clinical nutritionist, and part of the time I spend working as a clinical nutritionist and seeing clients, and part of the time I spend teaching at the Maryland University of Integrative Health as part of the nutrition faculty.
Yeah, which is a great school, by the way. I so love it.
I love the school.
Yes. So here's what I want to say. First and foremost is that you're a very smart human being. And because you're a smart human being, you make a living off of being smart using your mind, and particularly around a field that you love, nutrition, food, health. I'm right there with you. I love that. And so people like us like figuring things out with our mind because it's a good proven tool. People who have sharp minds in any field, any profession, want to be able to solve their problems with their mind. And you expressed a little bit earlier in the conversation that you're feeling really confused. And that's sort of the background kind of radio station that I feel is playing for you as you're trying to figure this all out. And it's not like you've just been trying to figure it out for the last 3 or 4 months. You've been trying to figure it out from an early age. And you've been trying to figure it out as you learn more and more as a professional. You understand that you have certain tools, you have certain insights, and that's a great advantage for you, but it also has a disadvantage. The disadvantage of being smart in this realm is that there's going to be the belief that therefore I should be able to solve this and figure it out. And I don't know that the answers will come to you when your brain is working hard. That's my moment with you right now. I'm believing that there's a part of you that has to turn off when it comes to how you are managing this part of your experience, because you're trying to be your best counselor, which makes perfect sense. You're trying to be your best nutritionist, which it makes perfect sense. It's you taking responsibility for your body, your health, your experience, your weight, your happiness. I totally get it. I think
I also feel a lot of pressure, and I think it's very much internal because I haven't had anyone verbalize it to me, but I feel like as a nutritionist, there is a certain, body shape, body weight that I need to have because I'm essentially, and then I in my body is an advertisement to my profession.
Yes.
And to what I do.
Which puts even more pressure on you to solve the problem that hasn't been able to solve, which creates more background stress for you. So, and you might have already alluded to this, but a lot of your stress is the stress of trying to figure this out. And the stress of, well, if I don't figure it out, what does that say about me? What does that mean about me? And especially if this is my profession, like you say, I'm an advertisement for a profession, so I must be doing something wrong. And how's that going to look? So that's a lot of stress. That's a lot of pressure. And it sounds counterintuitive, but what I would love to see for you is a way for you to take a vacation in your mind from having to solve this. So it's almost as if I say, Jenny, you're gone on vacation for 3 months. You're still going to stay in your place. You're still going to be working. You're going to be doing everything that you do. The only difference is the part of your brain that's on, how do I fix this? How do I make this better? How do I work this out? What am I supposed to do? That's the part I want to give a vacation to, because I don't know if you know the Jenny who exists when you're not trying to figure that all out. Because in a way, when you lose the weight, there's still a little bit of voice in the background because you've gone up and down. So there's probably going to be a voice that says, okay, well, how do we maintain this? What do we do? Am I staying on the plan? Okay, wow, here comes a new stress. So we're going to be a little bit of fear coming up in the background. I'm just interested in you getting to know you without having to figure this out. And it doesn't mean I want you to stay that way forever. It just means, how do you take some time off from this and see who you are, who shows up? Because I think there's a different Jenny in there who just needs a little self-expression. And yeah, I love it when you say, wow, I found a kind of exercise that I really enjoy. What I like about that for you is that so many human beings are using exercise to be fit, to lose weight. I get it. Exercise should be joyous movement. It should be fun movement. It should be something, you can work hard at it, but you kind of want to do it. Your body, you're celebrating movement. You're celebrating your life. You're celebrating, hey, it's me, I'm alive. All things considered, relatively healthy. All things considered, I'm doing okay. So it's almost like I'm asking you to push the pause button on figuring it out and using your mind to be the proper tool here, because that tool hasn't proved effective yet for this particular challenge that you're facing. And when that happens, for me, I just like to call a timeout and then just notice what life brings to you. Notice what your environment brings to you. Notice what shows up. And yeah, you're going to have to relax into being you. Like pretend, okay, this is my body. I'm going to hang with this. I'm going to just be with this. You don't have to say, this is the body I'm going to have for the rest of my life, but let's just pretend. This is the body I'm going to have for a little while. How do I be with this? And then how do I just live the rest of my life and put this issue to the side? What happens when I say this for you? What are you thinking?
Lots of how questions like popping in my head.
Yes.
And in addition to the hows, definitely thoughts that I think one of the challenges for this time around with weight gain is that I have never been this heavy. And well, I have when I was about to have my oldest daughter. And being at the age where I'm at and understanding that, there with premenopausal changes and menopausal changes, weight becomes more of an issue. And to me, I don't think that I'm as worried about the looks, even though, yes, I want to look good. But I think to me, the fear starts to rise when I kind of think about the potential repercussions for health. And I feel like now I'm probably at a better place to make changes that would hopefully set me in a better place for being healthy in the future. So yeah, what I was thinking as you was speaking is really about how do I do that? Because I'm very curious to shut off my mind and see what I find. And at the same time, there's definitely some fear about gaining more weight.
Yes. So that's very natural. The fear of weight gain is a viral fear, meaning you didn't invent it. You inherited it. You caught it from the world. Yeah. Fear of weight gain happens to people who feel like they have extra weight and they want to lose it. The fear of weight gain happens to people who have the quote unquote perfect body. And they're afraid if they eat anything more than a salad, that they're going to gain weight. So that fear is out there regardless of what people weigh. It has blown my mind over the years. I've met with people, worked with people who truly have the ideal bodies that everybody wants. And they're as freaked out as anyone about, oh my God, I can gain weight. So part of it is a practice in learning to manage our fear. I literally think of it as a spiritual practice, because ultimately you're in a relationship with your body. Ultimately, at some point, we're all going to have the same net result from our good diet and our good exercise, which is we're going to die at some point, somewhere, at some time, at some age of some challenge. Right. So really, it's asking ourselves, I think, okay, who do I want to be? And so you've been married before?
Yes.
How long were you married for?
20 years.
So, and you have one kid or more? Two. How old?
23 and 14.
Congratulations. Good for you.
Thank you.
Is your 14-year-old living with you?
Part of the time.
Yes. So I think it would be an interesting exploration if you haven't done it already. Have you thought about, who do I want to be in this next half plus of my life?
I haven't thought about who I want to be, but I'm definitely thinking about how curious I am to find out.
I think those are the questions that are most valuable right now, that deserve front and center stage. Not how do I lose weight? Because the reality is we can be healthy or unhealthy at many different sizes. You can be perfectly thin or slender, whatever your ideal weight is. And there's plenty of people who are thin and slender and have whatever disease they have. Mm-hmm. So weight loss is not going to necessarily guarantee us long-term health. What's going to help with long-term health is if you're doing practices that feel right for you and that feel healthy. and especially the kinds of practices that make you inspired about your life, that are fulfilling the deeper desires that you have. So to me, those are the kinds of curiosity questions, like, who do I want to be? If I did enter relationship again, what would that look like? What would work for me this time around? What would I want? Can I be a mom and have another relationship? Like, what am I attracted to? What am I drawn to? What do I do differently? How do I wish to be in my body? Part of it is, it's easy that when we're trying to lose weight, we can spend a lot of time in our head thinking about our body. And what I've noticed is one of the ways that people reach their natural weight and end up hanging out there is when they're allowing themselves to be more and more embodied, i.e., you have a body. We all have bodies. How do you wish to be in your body? Are you in your body? How do you nourish it? How do you pleasure it? How do you celebrate it? How do you rest it? How do you move it? All of that is kind of like just you dropping into your body. Because it's hard for us to drop into our body when we're constantly trying to change it. My mind is trying to operate on my body. Okay, body, you need to do this. Wait, you're not doing this. Okay, what do I need to do to make my body do something different? And all the while, we're missing the experience called, whoa, I'm in a body. And this body can be pleasurable. This body can be fun. This body can go places. It can hike. It can breathe. It can swim. It can dance. So that's why I'm interested in you taking a little vacation from figuring it out. How do you do that? It's kind of like a meditation practice. i.e., there's certain thoughts that I'm not going to buy into or indulge myself in or get on the train of those thoughts. Mm-hmm. So the moment you catch yourself, oh, wait a second, should I eat this? Should I eat that? Which would be better for weight loss? Let it go. And ask yourself, what does my body want right now? Not your mind. What does my body want? When you mentioned before about, I'm not really so sure what's going on when I eat food that I think, well, that's enough. But then you want more. That's a great place to get curious. Do you consider yourself fast eater, moderate eater, slow eater?
I'm a very slow eater.
Great. So it's fascinating because one thing that the body tends to hunger for is experience. Body wants experience. And you love food. Many people love food. And it's a beautiful love to have. So when you love food, you're going to want to love on it. And it's a reliable source of love. So you're going to want to enjoy it for sure. So instead of making our love for food wrong, it's starting to ask yourself, what else do I add into the equation that you love and your body loves that helps your body feel some of the love? Mm-hmm. There might not be a lot of other things that give us the same reliable love and pleasure that food gives us. And how do you expand out more for you that makes sense for you, that's natural for you? What's your body looking for? Is it looking for more movement? Is it looking for more touch? Does it want more dance? Does it want more rhythm? Like whatever it is. Does it want to do more strength building things? Does it want to loosen up more? And just start to get curious about your body in that way. Mm-hmm. That's what I would love for you. Thoughts?
I am very interested. I'm definitely very interested. What you said about, seeking the experience, that's definitely true. I definitely notice, like, if I'm enjoying a meal, like, I just want to stay there and continue enjoying a meal, because it is enjoyable, and it takes forever, because like I said, I'm a very, very slow eater. But I indulge, like, in that slowness, because I feel like that's where I can, it's time for me, and it's also enjoyable time, and I get, fed if I'm hungry.
Yes.
I think, through the kind of observation process that I have been doing recently, and like the noticing where, on one hand, I need to get my stomach full, like actually feel full. But at the same time, that fullness is not something that I find comfortable. Like, I wish you asked me about, like, what if I had a magic wand? I wish I could find that spot that was just before that, like, uncomfortable fullness.
Yes.
Because there's so many weird things that are happening in my head. Like, for example, if I take food with me, I usually don't, like, eat out. I notice that if I bring more food than I know I need, I will be less hungry, because I'm not stressing out over, oh my God, what am I going to do if I'm hungry? But that, like, when I go hungry, when I feel hungry, my mind, like, shuts down and I don't feel well. So I am constantly thinking about, I want to make sure that all my things are in place. If I have a long work day, I need to make sure I bring enough, so when I need to, I can eat and continue functioning. So, but that was an interesting find just for me, and from, like, an observational standpoint, to notice that I just need to bring more food. I don't eat all of it. I don't need it. But as long as it's there, it's like my safety, mechanism where, okay, I can relax because I know I have, plenty.
Yes. And that's completely okay, because food helps us feel safe. I'm not going to be hungry. I'm going to live. I'm going to survive. So, the challenge is, from a certain age, food became problematic for you. Food became problematic approximately when you were going through puberty. At the same time, you're moving to a whole new country and a whole new culture and everything's different. So at a very key time in your life, when your body is changing, your sexuality is changing, your mind is changing, there's all this upheaval. And at the same time, you gain weight and you're now being exposed to more weight shaming and weight hate and weight upset. And oh my God, I'm not good enough. So your natural love of food is mixed in with all these voices of, okay, got to manage, control, appetite, too much food, not enough food. So that's a lot. That's a lot. And on the one hand, it's asking yourself how you graduate, because I'm the way I see it is that oftentimes for people, there's a part of us that stays at a certain age when it comes to our relationship with food and body. So I'm going to guess that there's a part of you that is that 14-year-old girl when it comes to eating. A part of you. Now, there's a part of you that when you eat, you're a nutritionist, you're a scientist, you're a cook.
For sure.
That's all active. But at the same time, sitting at the table for you, you have a committee sitting at the table. You got your nutritionist, you got your cook, you got your mom, like you, the mom, and you also have the 14-year-old Jenny, who's what is going on here? And everything's confused and nothing's making sense. And all you know is I'm gaining weight and this is terrible because people are telling me it's terrible. So I think it's good to just be aware of that young you and how you hold her and how you treat her and how you manage her. She might need a little more of your attention. You might need to start to notice when, oh, I'm being that little girl right now. And nothing wrong with it. You don't have to even do anything about it, to just notice that.
Mm-hmm.
To just notice, oh, I'm feeling a little vulnerable right now. I'm feeling like confused. When you're feeling confused, my guess, even the nutritionist in you, when the nutritionist in you is feeling confused, it's going to funnel you into 14-year-old you. Oh my God, I know all this information and it's not doing me any good in this moment. So I think part of you growing into the person you want to be is learning how to bring that 14-year-old along so you hear her voice, you understand what she's wanting, and you just give her a little love, because sometimes she needs not nutrition advice. That 14-year-old girl in you just needs to be loved and hugged and to know that you're acceptable. She's acceptable and she doesn't have to be any different. Because in a strange way, there's a part of your life where you're reenacting the challenge of that 14-year-old, i.e., by you not accepting you at your weight, you're experiencing that not acceptance. Mm-hmm. As a 14-year-old. Like the adults in my life are criticizing me. I'm not accepted. I'm not loved for who I am. So there's a part of you that's continuing that. That's why I wanted you to call time out and take a 3-month vacation and shut off your mind, because I think what's going to happen is when you shut off your mind, you're going to feel yourself in a different way. And you're going to feel the vulnerability. You're going to feel that young girl in you. And you're going to just be able to attend to that part of you that's just more vulnerable, that needs to be loved and not given nutrition advice.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to start now.
Yeah. So it felt like that resonated for you.
Definitely.
And it's really us. Sometimes we just need to do a little bit of a strategic strike into the past to just bring the past up to date. And I'm just aware of the part of you that so wants to fix you and fix all this and can't figure it out. And that's okay. You don't have to be like the smart scientist, nutritionist that figures it all out. You can actually absolve yourself of that role. That doesn't mean you're not going to be your best nutritionist, because you are. Doesn't mean you're not going to be your best health advocate, because you always will be. It just means there's a place where you're trying to fix it that puts a lot of pressure on you. And I don't think you realize how much pressure it puts on you. And we don't realize how much pressure it puts on us until we just give it a rest. So in the next several months, I'm going to say your job is to reparent, remother, and nourish 13, 14, 15-year-old Jenny.
I'm very curious.
Yes. You got a big smile on your face because she needs that part of you.
I am definitely looking forward to all these discoveries. Yes, this is a very interesting idea.
Machines have their personalities. So I'm excited for you and happy for you because, you know, the scientific mind in us is a powerful tool, but that tool doesn't work in all places. It works in the places that it works, and it's useful where it's useful. And I feel that what you've been discovering, and I'm just raising my hand and saying, here's what I think. I think there's just a part of you that has to embrace that, oh, wow, my nutrition knowledge and ability and skill is only going to take me so far.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a place where I'm going to have to let go of that tool, my smart nutrition science mind, to fix this issue. Because the issue doesn't so much want to be fixed. I think the issue just wants to, it needs breathing room. It needs space. It needs feeling room. And yeah, there's just a lot of feeling to happen. And there's a you, I think, that it's time for you to meet again. And it's the young you, it's the vulnerable you, it's the you that got confused, that needed a certain kind of love and attention and care. You're a mom, you know what kind of love and attention and care your children need. You can see it. You see what your 14-year-old needs. So really what I'm asking is for you to turn that same mother nourishment, heart chakra place, turn it towards you. And let that be where you play for a little while. And just you know what to eat. You can tune in and your body wisdom's working. And it's a good place for you to say, okay, you know, I'm going to trust my body for a little while. Is it possible I can gain weight? Sure. Is it possible I can get sick and die tomorrow? Sure. Anything can happen. So trusting your body is in a strange way, it's no different than trusting your life. It's no different than trusting life with a capital L. It's no different from trusting a higher power. It's all the same. So it's saying, okay, you know, I'm going to trust that my journey is a good one. And I can put aside weight and weight loss for a little while and just be with myself in a different way.
Thank you.
Those are my thoughts for you, Jenny. That's my wish for you.
Thank you very much.
You think that's something you can do?
I am definitely going to do this. I definitely, just even from a curiosity perspective, I'm interested. And also from the discovery and just finding out what it feels like to shut my mind.
Yeah. Yes. And it's a practice. It's a practice because you're not just shutting off your mind. At the same time, you're opening up your heart to a part of you that's kind of raising her hand and calling for attention. And I just am interested in you treating that part of you like you would treat your beloved children who need love and care, who, when they're 13 and 14, they're a little shaky. They don't know quite who they are. And there's a lot to deal with and a lot to consider. And you can hold that part of you.
It's also interesting that my second one is that same age now. So I think it's going to be a very interesting experience and a very interesting practice.
Perfect timing.
Yep.
Well, Jenny, I really appreciate the conversation. I'm just thrilled to get to meet you, and just I don't know, feel like you're a colleague, even though you got to be my client in this session. And I'm really interested to hear how things work out for you.
I will keep you posted. Thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure to meet you.
Same here, Jenny. Thank you so much. And thanks everybody for tuning in. Take care.
Hey friends, we're so happy that you've joined us for another episode of The Psychology of Eating with Marc David. Are you loving these episodes? Then simply subscribe and you'll never miss an episode again. We'd also love it if you'd leave us a comment below so we can hear more about your own journey with food and body. And if you're curious about what we offer at the Institute for the Psychology of Eating, including our internationally acclaimed coach certification training that's rooted in dynamic eating psychology and mind-body nutrition, please head on over to our website, psychologyofeating.com. Until next time, take care. And remember, having the body you want starts with loving the body you have.